Hey everybody, welcome back to my art channel. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Marilee and I am a full-time stay-at-home mom and an artist, and I make and create a wide variety of different types of pieces, and then I use them as either teaching tools or I use them to sell on my Instagram, Facebook, and other social media platforms. And those are all linked down below in the description if you are interested in checking that out. So it's been about a week or so since I've posted my last video, and in that time frame I have recently undergone some surgery, so things are just a little bit slow getting back into the regular swing of things. But enough of that, let's jump into today's video. So today, in today's video, I wanted to talk to you about some of the different ways I like to go about beginning a painting. There are two different ways that I like to go about it. One is what I would call plotting your piece, and the other one is a little bit more abstract and loose, in that more of an intuition type feel to it. So with plotting your piece, as you can see in this short painting clip, in this video, you can see, or while I'm doing this painting, you can see that I am sketching out a rough idea as to what I would like to do on a blank piece of watercolor paper that's been taped down to a surface. I can talk more about the different types of paints and paper and tape that I use in another video, but as just a brief quick overview, I tape down the watercolor paper that I'm using just to add a bit of stability to the surface on which I'm painting on. As water tends to encourage paper to buckle and curl when you add the two together, and so the tape just adds a little bit of stability to it and prevents it from doing it as much. So jumping back into what I'm doing here, I am roughly sketching out a brief idea as to what I want to do on this piece of paper. And while I don't always sketch it out, sometimes it's a good way to help focus my thoughts and ideas on what I want to do and where I would like things to go. I also find that sometimes when I'm doing a very large painting, I like to do this if only because it helps keep my scale and perspective all within a proportion and a nice flow throughout the whole piece. And sometimes when I go free flow without doing that, my perspective can get just a little bit skewed. So from here, I will draw out, and this is just one of the ways. I don't always go about it, but it just depends on the piece itself and how I'm feeling about at the time. So for this one, I opted to draw out what I wanted to do, and I actually had done a pre-sketch for this particular painting. I had in a sketchbook drawn out just a rough sketch with pen, plotting an idea, and I decided to take that concept and apply it to the painting that you see me starting here. And so again, I start out by just simply sketching out what I'm doing, and I'm just using a very light pencil line drawing, and you can use just about anything for this particular step, whether it's a watercolor pencil or just regular pencil, even just a very light pencil crayon. Some people do like to use charcoal and other different means. I like to stick with things that are really, really easy to rub out. I keep my lines really, really light so that they're not visible or very easy to disguise and erase with the paint that I put on top of it. And that's a nice thing about watercolor pencil. Depending as to what color or how you want to go about it, you can sort of blend away the lines into your painting as you go along. And the nice thing too about, even if you decide to go and plot out your piece like I'm doing in this video or for this particular painting, you don't have to follow those lines 100%. Like they're not set in stone. This is just a guide from myself. And so sometimes I will decide halfway through a painting that, you know what, maybe I want the sky just to fall a little bit longer, or I want the trees a little bit higher, so I'll overlap them a little bit differently, or I just want something to flow a little bit different than what I originally had sketched out, and I will go with that. I find most of the paintings that I start tend to end up taking a mind of its own, and you just have to go with it. That's where some of the intuition comes into play when you're doing any real type of art project or painting. Sometimes what you had in mind isn't exactly what comes up in paper, but sometimes it turns out a lot better than what you had predicted. So, like I had previously mentioned, there are two different ways that I like to go about it. This one was what I would like to call plotting out your piece, using a means of drawing or sketching something onto a blank surface and then painting in or coloring in your idea from there. In this next short painting clip that you'll see, I am doing another style which is a little bit more free flow and a little bit more intuition based. This one I use a lot when I'm using watercolors. Not always the case, but I do find that more often than not with watercolors I will go with more of an intuition style rather than a plotting out style. And in this one, it's exactly what it sounds like. I have an idea in my head and I grab some water, I grab my colors, and I literally just put one to the other and just let the idea flow. Some people, myself included, find a lot of peace, a lot of serenity in doing this type of painting, and it can be very freeing. I find that the only kind of control you have is the amount of water and paint that you use and how you apply it to the paper. Beyond that, the control is completely out of your hands, and sometimes that can be very freeing and sometimes that can be very scary. I find that really no matter which method you use, whether it's a free flow or a structured method, every single one of these methods I use simultaneously, and sometimes I'll use both of them in the same painting. For example, for this painting that I just recently did for my Patreon group, The Mermaid, I opted to combine the styles. So in the very beginning, I decided to do a free flow gradient across the back of the page, or rather in the background, and I just did a very nice wash of color and put together a very basic beginnings to a landscape. And then once that was dry, I opted to sketch out and plot the idea that I wanted on top of that background. In this case, the mermaid and the rocks and where I wanted things to go. I find that that can be very helpful as well. So you don't have to, there isn't any one way or any right or wrong way to go about beginning a painting. Everything is very easily adaptable and can be done to suit your own style. And I find that mixing things up can just help with whatever it is you're doing, and each different method suits whichever each painting has their own way of going about doing things, and each one has their own way. Yeah, so again, there's plotting your style, which is just sketching out your idea initially on a blank page. There's the more free flow abstract style, which is just applying color to paper and allowing the rest of it to just to come to life on its own. And then there's, marrying the two a little bit, where, you may initially do that with, your background, and do a little bit of free flow, a nice gradient, or just a quick rough fantasy background, and then you sketch in whatever it is you want to do on top. And there's absolutely nothing preventing you from trying out these styles and applying them to your own work and seeing what works for you and what doesn't. So I thank you all so much for tuning in. I will be back again with another art video. I have some projects brewing. Also, that being said, I have a major art sale going on my website, and you're welcome to check that out down below. Every single one of my original paintings that are currently up and available are all up and including 60% off. I'm also running weekend giveaways that will be taking place every weekend for the next little while. So I highly encourage you to check out my social media platforms and give that a go. You'll find the giveaway across all 4 of them: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Pinterest. They are all there. So for this weekend, it's just about coming to a close. The giveaway runs from Friday to Sunday, and then I will announce the winner on Monday. And the same thing will apply next weekend for the next giveaway. So I thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will be back soon with another art video. Happy creating! Hey everybody, welcome back to my art channel. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, I would invite you and encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. I also hope that you come back and tune in to see what else I upload, as I upload every week. And I thank you all so much for your continued support. If you would like to see more of my artwork, you will find it on my website as well as across all of the social media platforms that I use, and I will have them all linked down below. Again, I thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you all again in the next video. Bye, everybody.